Good evening, SMA, and welcome to round 9 of the Motorsport South Africa Cup 2025. With 8 rounds completed, we are entering the last 2 of this exciting championship where every decision could be crucial for the drivers as we enter the business end of the season. I am your main host, Flawed Genius Gaming, taking you through this intense encounter, but looking to settle my nerves, bringing a bit of decorum to proceedings, and making his debut in the MSA Cup. I am joined by my new co-commentator, so please give him the warmest of welcomes. It's Rob G. Barker. Welcome in, my friend, and how are you feeling ahead of this race today?
Yes, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for the wonderful warm welcome. This is a tournament I've been watching since round 1, and it is an absolute pleasure to be joining you tonight, Flawed.
Oh, the pleasure is all mine, believe me. But before we get into the race details, it's important to shout out our sponsors for this season, as without their support, none of this would be possible. So the MSA Cup 2025 is sponsored by TGSC Cape Town Golf Academy, the hotbed of nurturing young potential to golfing greatness. An academy with a breadth of history for producing talent on the world stage. If you feel you have what it takes to become South Africa's next global star, TGSC is the place to be. We are also sponsored by SimulatorCave.com, South Africa's haven for all your sim racing equipment, selling only the highest recommended products from the likes of Fanatec and Moza, as well as racing cockpits for that perfect driving experience. Contact JP for all his helpful and friendly advice, and if you're still not convinced, book yourself a tour of the shop and test drive many of their sim rigs available so you get the full sim experience and leaving behind any doubts. Link is in the description below, and thank you so much to our official sponsors for the 2025 season of the MSA Cup. We are also in association with Motorsport South Africa, the only place for official GT7 leagues on behalf of South Africa, and Sim Motorsport Association, growing the sport together. Please contact Robin Williams, our MSA GT7 promoter, for further details. Email links will be in the description below and on our YouTube homepage. So let's take a recap on today and the final races of the season in the MSA Cup 2025. So we are 8 weeks down with just 2 rounds remaining, and we take our attention to the Parco di Monza in Italy for round 9 of the MSA Cup at the Autodromo Nazionale, oh my god, I always struggle with this, Nazionale Monza, coming up in a few moments time. Following on the second of our special events, we head to France for Le Mans. The vehicle now confirmed as the Formula 3500A, a throwback to the early 1990s for the V12 powered Formula 1 car, which will declare our new champion for the MSA Cup 2025. So that is the roadmap for the rest of the season, but Rob, please explain to us the details for tonight's race.
Yes, thank you, Florida. Good evening once again, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Temple of Speed. Tonight we are live from the iconic Autodromo Nazionale Monza, which pretty much promises an electrifying race. Built in 1922, a staple in motorsport history, Monza is one of the oldest and fastest circuits on the planet. Just shy of 5.8 kilometers, 3.6 miles. It's a flat-out roller coaster of long straights, sweeping curves, and brutal braking zones. From the Retafilio chicane at turn 1 to the final corner parabolica, it's all about commitment, high speeds, and nerves of steel. Just 11 corners to navigate this evening, 7 to the right, 4 to the left. With its low downforce setups and unforgiving layout, Monza will put these drivers to the test. Brake ever so slightly late into Ascari and you're going off. Get greedy out Lesmo 2 and you'll be sure to find some gravel. But the grid is stacked with absolute talent. Every one of them knows what's at stake here. This isn't just a race, this is a game of a 200-mile-an-hour chess. Conditions are dry, correct tyre strategy, pit stops and split seconds decisions can and will make or break your race this evening. Fastest laps around here held by Sir Lewis Hamilton with a 1:18.8. But tonight, in the cars that we're in, the quickest of the drivers will be achieving lap times of around the 1:47s. But the drivers are all about ready for qualifying. But please let me introduce tonight's race settings. So as you can see, it will be a 10-minute qualifying session. Tyre wear is set to times 6, fuel is set to times 5 with a refueling speed of 7 litres per second. It's 28 laps and all dry tyre compounds must be used. Now let's take a look at what our competitors will be driving. So for tonight's race, it is the Mercedes AMG 2020 GR3 car, a 460 horsepower, 1,355 kg under BOP in weight. Replaces the 2016 model with the fourth of 5 GR3 cars added post-launch. 6.3 V8 engine, and the features modelled is Sprint Endurance. Excuse me, the Sprint model and Endurance fog lights can be added in GT Auto. So with the race details confirmed, Flawed, please talk us through the results of last week.
Thank you, Rob. Yes, let's have a look at the race review of round 8. This is the review of round 8 of the MSA Cup, and we was at the penalty haven that we called the Red Bull Ring. It was Tiernan Levitis and teammate Pani Potato who led from the front in this 33-lap race. However, Pani Potato didn't get the best launch from the start, losing 3 positions before we entered the first turn. However, both JDJ and Fish running wide would pick up track limits to be served at the end of the lap. And with Neil making a great start on the opening lap, he would take full advantage of JDJ's penalty to overtake him at turn 9 to move into second position. Further behind, going into turn 10, we would go 3 wide into the turn. VSR Giller diving down the inside would cause Chaz to run into his teammate Tiernan Lightning Lorry as he became a victim, being on the outside, spins out to the back of the grid. On lap 3, approaching the hairpin at turn 3 with JDJ and Pani Potato chasing down Neil for P2. JDJ dives down the inside with the door left open. However, JDJ ran deep, causing a domino effect behind with Pani Potato running into the side of Neil, causing him to spin and falls down to 13th position after his initial great start. Meanwhile, on lap 5, a 3-way fight was developing for P9. Tiernan Latari under serious pressure from VSR Giller and Tiernan Chaz. Latari would take the inside line for the hairpin, but Giller was brave, getting on the brakes slightly later to perfection, with Tiernan Chaz following suit, would both overtake Latari around the outside with a great move, losing him 2 positions to P11. On lap 6, Puma Nutcap was looking to tame the Wolf, with both side by side going down the hill approaching Schloss Goal for turn 4. Nutcap would be favourite, taking the inside line. However, as they both went into the turn, Nutcap would be slightly too eager, getting on the throttle as he thought control of his car would run into the backside of VSR Wolfie, causing him to spin. Nutcap would sportingly wait for Wolfie, but both would lose positions to Giller and Chaz, falling to 9th and 10th position. On lap 12, the battle between Giller and Chaz would rage on as Chaz looked for a dive on Giller down the inside of turn 1. However, Chaz ran too deep. Giller, anticipating this, would complete the switchback. With Puma Nutcap also getting through, Chaz would drop 2 positions from 1 corner. But the battle wouldn't end there, as Giller, defending hard to the buzzing Puma Nutcap, who would not leave him alone, would perform the old switcheroo for turn 3 from outside to the inside line. line would get a great run on Giller down the inside as they went toe-to-toe down the hill for turn 4, with Chaz just behind. Giller was thinking 2 could play that game, tried to repeat that feat on Puma Nutcap, but as they went into the turn with TNR Chaz looking to take his normal racing line with nowhere to go, with running to the rear side of VSR Giller, sending him sideways into the barrier, losing 6 positions and front aero damage. Deep into the second half of the race with differing strategies, JDJ with the more grippier mediums to Panic Potato's hards, JDJ in prime position to take that P2 away from Panic Potato, would perform the old switcheroo at turn 3 of lap 22 with a textbook outside to inside switch, was looking favourite to get the job done at turn 4 to move into P2. You'd have thought it was a foregone conclusion for JDJ to start clawing back the gap to race leader Levitius. However, Panic Potato had other ideas as we started lap 23. As we approached turn 1, JDJ just in front would get slightly squirrely on the exit, and struggling to apply the throttle, Panic Potato would power on through with the perfect exit to retake P2, knowing he was on the inferior tyre, swept in front and back to the outside, leaving an opportunity for JDJ to push back through to the inside. But remarkably, Panic Potato had better traction on the exit to power through on the outside, back in front and swept to the inside for turn 4, being a real nuisance to JDJ as he knew he would have to do it the hard way around the outside. He would be denied the overtake with a great defensive display from Panic Potato, now nicknamed the Minister of Defense, as he holds on to that P2. JDJ losing time to Levitius way out in front, bringing his teammate Richard into this fight. And a lap later, as the battle rages on between the pair, they go side by side again into turn 4. With great respect between the two as they give each other space, Panic Potato holds it around the outside. JDJ has a nose in front but isn't able to complete the move as Panic Potato knows he has the optimal line for the left-hander at turn 6. He squeezes JDJ to the outside, who I'm sure is frustrated at this point, losing ground to race leader Levitius by turn 8. Finally, JDJ has a good run, slightly aided by Richard as he's able to push past Panic Potato for P2, with Richard looking to follow him through into P3 at turn 9. Potato surprisingly performs the old switcheroo back for P3 with the tiniest bit of contact, which in turn was a great sporting gesture as he allows Richard through for P3 in what was one of the best battles seen in this season's MSA Cup. That would be all she wrote in this race, but Panic Potato's job in helping out teammate Levitius would be complete. Because TNR Levitius, who led from the front from start to finish with an ever so dominant display, barely putting a wheel out of place with the perfect race, aided by Panic Potato holding up the VSR drivers, Levitius would be able to manage the 12 seconds in front to comfortably bring home his fourth victory of the season. And VSR JDJ just about holds off Richard for second, and championship leader at the time VSR Richard finishes third. TNR Panic Potato with one of the finest defensive displays finishes in 4th, and Puma Nutcap with his second best result finishes in 5th. VSR Fish finishes in 6th, just in front of TNR Chaz for 7th. And VSR Wolfie comes home in 8th, with VSR Nitro Merlin coming home in 9th. And TNR Latari secures a top 10 finish, with VSR Giller with a valiant fight back to finish in 11th. Puma Neil comes across the line in 12th, with TNR Lightning Lorry finishing in 13th, and last across the line is MGR Kennels in 14th. So that is how things ended in for round 8 of the MSA Cup at the Red Bull Ring, but how does that affect things in the point standings after 8 rounds? So with 2 drop rounds now taken into effect, this has changed things at the top, and with Levitius winning in the last round and VSR Richard claiming 3rd from round 8 at the Red Bull Ring, means TNR Levitius returns to the summit of the championship after 8 rounds with 2,379 points, with VSR Richard in 2nd, 7 points further back. VSR JDJ remains in 3rd, but with his 2nd place result, he closes the deficit to within 8 points of teammate Richard with 2,364 points, who still has that outside chance in the fight for the title. TNR Panic Potato remains in 4th with 2,343 points, and likewise with his teammate Papaya Racer, who stays in 5th. Same could be said of both VSR drivers in Fish and Giller, who remain in 6th and 7th respectively, but VSR Wolfie, the big mover after the drop rounds, rises up 6 positions to 8th with 2,293 points. This means the next 4 drivers drop a position as a result, with Puma Neil in 9th, VSR Nitro Merlin in 10th, MGR Kennels in 11th, and TNR Latari falling to 12th. Puma Nutcap stays in 13th, but with TNR Lightning Lorry falling to the foot of the table with 2,248 points. Now, tonight is a crucial race for those fighting for honours, as the top 3 will be awarded with a nice prize come the end of the season. But best of luck to all the drivers tonight, where we have a 10-minute qualifying awaiting us ahead of this 28-lap race here at the Temple of Speed in Monza for round 9 of the MSA Cup. So we'll be back in a few moments' time. Okay, so it looks like the drivers are doing their final warm-ups in preparation for this 10-minute qualifying at Monza. But Rob, you've been watching practice. Any drivers out there that's looking particularly competitive right now?
Yeah, it's pretty close up at the moment, and the majority are falling into the 148. We've had a couple falling just outside, but the one thing that has perked my interest, Flawed, is the tyre wear on the soft is going to be particularly high this evening. So a lot of tyre management, I guess we're going to see throughout the race. But JDJ setting the early pace with a 148.1 in the practice round.
Okay, JDJ, is he in the... No, he's out on track. Okay. Let's bring up the Delta for us. There we go. So, yeah, at the moment, JDJ looking frighteningly fast out there. Although this is practice, and this is where the mistakes from the drivers, you know, they can get them out in practice, making sure that in the qualifying session that they absolutely nail it. And you know, with qualifying, I think it's going to be very important here, Rob, because of course this is a bit of a slipstream battle at Monza. So you will need to be at least in the top 3 to have a good chance of winning the race, I think, Rob.
Yeah, I also think strategy is going to play a big part in tonight's race. But you're absolutely right, it is slipstream city, and often a pole position will quite often catch you out into turn 1, and you can lose that pole position within the first corner of the race. So quali is definitely an important one, and the drivers are going to want to be towards the front rather than the back of the grid.
Yes, indeed. As we're just about to start this 10-minute qualifying session at Monza, I would imagine Giller will be the first one to come out of the pits. No, it's not actually. It is Levitius. So Levitius, who actually said in last week's interviews, he did say that Monza is his place, it's in his blood, being half Italian. So we're expecting big things for Levitius. Now, of course, with the championship being so tight at the top, Levitius currently leading by 7 points over VSR Richard. Levitius knows that he really needs to perform. He's certainly going to be under pressure, and Richard as well knows that he will need to finish in front of Levitius to have any chance of winning this MSA Cup Championship for 2025. But Rob, I mean, you know Levitius a little bit, don't you? And absolute phenomenal driver. What kind of thoughts do you think that Levitius will have ahead of this race today?
Oh, he's an absolutely outstanding driver. He's coming off the back of 4 victories as well in the MSA Cup this season. And if he spotted that flaw, although he was first out the pit, he immediately returned back to the pit and now out in P11. So there's a little bit of tactics playing there, maybe from Levitius, try and get that early slipstream. And they're all jostling for position, waiting to pick up a slipstream. The TNR boys with JDJ, all jostling around, looking to pick up that toe into the first qualifying lap. But it will be Nutcap leading the way.
Yes, indeed. So he will be in that kind of precarious position where he knows that the drivers behind are going to be picking up that slip. So Neil in that prime position just behind him. Of course, we're seeing some team games come into play here. Nutcap and Puma Racing Neil, both of course part of the Puma Racing team, and then of course we got the VSR drivers in Richard, VSR Fish, and Gilla as well, just behind Wolfie as well. So it looks like they are definitely playing a bit of a team game here with, as you mentioned, about Panic Potato and Levitius, of course part of Team TNR, also going to be helping one another with that slipstream, and certainly Panic Potato helping out his teammate Levitius for that fastest lap. So we'll see what happens in the next 7 minutes or so. But could we see a 1 minute 47 for one or two of the drivers, Rob?
I think absolutely the quickest of the drivers will be dipping their toes into the 147s. All importantly, if they get that toe, I think a 147 out of slip would be rather difficult to achieve. But we will see as Nutcap is making his way towards Ascari for the first timed lap. So we'll see what the offset is, but I think you will see Neil pick up the first of the quickest laps with being in that time.
Yes, indeed. Well, they are on their first hot laps right now. So Nutcap currently leading the train, but you could be right here, Rob, that Neil using that slipstream to its full advantage. You could see that Neil sets a very, very fast time here. Although, looking at the gap between Neil and VSR Richard and Fish, though, that has reduced. So maybe Richard on a bit of a charge now, as we see Nutcut come across the start-finish line to set a 1 minute 48.7. Neil with a 1 minute 49.5. VSR Richard up into second position with a 1 minute 48.4. Which puts Nutcat down into P3, because VSR Fish on pole position with a 1 minute 48.2. Where is Levitius though? Levitius comes across the line with a 1 minute 47.7. Rob.
Wow, absolutely phenomenal. They just caught the back of that almost perfection at the time. Unless the driver in front has boxed, I do believe he's done that out of slip, which is, if he has, that is just absolutely incredible.
Yes, indeed.
There's nobody. Oh, Latari is back in the pit, so maybe the toe came into effect for that 47.7. But Levitius continues on his run as the drivers start to make their way for their second laps. Yes, as we just saw Richard go off at the. I don't even know whereabouts that was. Was it the second? Yeah, it was the second chicane. Regia.
Yeah, so he has picked up damage, so he will need to fix that damage. We've got 5 minutes left of this qualifying session, so he should have enough time to get back to the pits, get that damage repaired, and then go for another hot lap. But of course, he will be out of sync of his teammates, obviously, without that slipstream. So Richard may find it difficult to catch up with Levitius, being that he's 6.5 tenths down on Levitius's pole position time, Rob.
Yeah, and we saw that the pit window is around the 30-second mark, plus the repair time. It would make no sense to return to the pit because he would come back out with a full tank. And as the drivers are making their way onto their second laps, they are using about half a tank of fuel. The temperature looks like it's coming down. It's starting to get quite gloomy around certain parts of the circuit. We will see Richard dive into the pit. He has also picked up a 1-second penalty, which he'll have to serve. That might be his quali over as he hits the pit wall on entry as well, Flawed.
Well, luckily, I think quite a few of the drivers did actually reset to the pit, so that kind of feeling of maybe staying out to perform these laps on a lighter tank. It looks like a lot of the drivers are thinking, do you know what? We can go quicker on a full tank. I don't know. I mean, quite unusual to be honest, but we do know with this qualifying session, now normally we have a 30-second cool down time, but this race is set to 120 seconds. So should they come across the line just before the allotted 10-minute, they should be able to get one more lap. So maybe the driver's thinking this and thinking, well, okay, as long as we get to the finish line before that allotted 10-minute time, they could go for that one more push lap to see if the likes of Fish, Richard, Panic Potato and Co can go quicker than Levitius, Rob.
Yeah, but there will need to be at least 20 seconds up the road. Levitius has a full tank, but just going back to the conversation of fuel, Fish hasn't refueled but does have a fresh set. VSR Richards still yet to serve that penalty, didn't refuel. Panic Potato did, Nutcap didn't. So this isn't over by any means. With how many, just over 2.5 minutes left, they're going to get a couple of laps at most.
Yes, indeed, and to be honest, with these tyres as well, I mean, we've seen obviously with the settings, the tyre wear is set to ×5, so these soft tyres are going to burn out very, very quickly. Nightcap already with the outlap, so technically, Rob, I think really you're only going to get an opportunity for one push lap before you would have to go back into the pit lane. Now obviously we've got 2 minutes left of this qualifying session, so this could be the last lap for Nutcap as he comes through the first chicane with no problems at all. Currently in the P5, 1 second down on Levitius's pole position time of that 1 minute 47.7 as Nitro Merlin comes across the line with a 1 minute 50.2. That's his personal best, who lies in 10th position. JDJ struggling at the moment though, Rob. 1 minute 56.2. Absolutely struggling.
He is in a train of VSR drivers, and just going back to that, I imagine the drivers would love to be on tyre wear ×5, but it's actually on ×6. The fuel is on ×5. They would be begging for ×5 right now. But yeah, JDJ, very low fuel. He's already done 2 time laps on this set of tyres, and he's only just shy of 0.2 improvement on his best lap. So struggling out there at the moment as Fish goes off.
Oh wow. Okay, that is not the time to go off, and now that is at just before Lesmo 1, isn't it? So on the exit of the second chicane there, I wonder what happened there. Did he get a little bit too much of that sausage curve and just unstable the car and put him into the wall? That is seriously going to hurt him, and I don't think he's going to go any quicker. So far, Levitius is good for that pole position time as Nutcap goes a little bit quicker with a 1 minute 48.7 to stay in P5, and TNR Lightning Lorry up into P8 with a 1 minute 48.9. But is there any serious challengers who may be able to challenge Levitius for that time? Where it looks like VSR Richard just coming around the final turn now at Parabolica, currently P3 at the moment. Can he improve on his 1 minute 48.4? And he does by just under 0.3 seconds, but he will remain in second position. JDJ with a last gasp effort moves up into P4 with a 1 minute 48.438, 6.5 tenths down on pole position pole sitter Levitius, who can really breathe easier now as he goes into the pit lane. Panic Potato will get one last chance, I do believe, to see if he can propel himself up from that 5th position he's got so far. VSR Giller also has a good chance of going quicker himself. VSR Wolfie, looks like VSR Wolfie and co have finished their hot laps, so it is just the 3 remaining drivers.
Yeah, correct, mate. We've got Panic Potato leading the train of Panic Potato, Levitius, and then I do believe it's Bran. Yeah, it is Brown in the VSR. Last of the VSR drivers to cross the line. It will be Panic Potato crossing the line first. Currently with the fastest lap of a 1:49.4 this session, but only 9/10 of a second off pole. Making his way around the final corner at Parabolica. It looks like this could be an improvement. If it's so, it's only going to be a small one. Don't think he's going to improve. He doesn't. Levitius doesn't either, so I think that is quali all wrapped up as Brand comes over with a 1:49.5. Doesn't improve, Flawed.
Okay, right, that is quali done, so we'll be back in a few moments' time. Okay, so the classified results of the qualifying session from round 9 at Monza sees Levitius start on pole position with a 1 minute 47.770. Just over 3.5 tenths quicker than VSR Richard, who's going to be starting alongside him on row 1. In 3rd position, we got VSR Fish with a 1 minute 48.2, just 2 tenths quicker than his teammate JDJ, who will be starting from P4 on row 2. On row 3, we've got Panic Potato in 5th position with VSR Giller starting alongside him in 6th. On row 4, we've got Puma Nutcat that's going to be starting from P7 with VSR Wolfie starting alongside him in P8. And then in 9th, we've got TNR Lightning Lorry starting from P9 on row 5. Alongside him, it will be Puma Racing Neil starting from P10. And then P11, we've got VSR Nitro Merlin, who's going to be starting on row 6. Starting alongside him will be TNR Latari Racing starting at the back of the grid. But Rob, what are your feelings on that qualifying session we've just seen?
Pace is ultimately the pace is very tight. Hardly anything separating the drivers. P6 and P7 less than a thousandth of a second. I think the outstanding time there is the Vicious of 1:47.7. Only driver to make the 47s. Will he be able to continue that pace in towards the race? I guess we'll find out, Flawed.
I guess we will. And I do believe we know that Papaya Racer couldn't make it today, but I do believe we are short of one driver as well. I'm just trying to think who that may be. But we are down on one driver. Off the top of my head, I'm just trying to think. If anyone could relate to us in chat to let us know who that other driver may be. But yeah, we should have 13 today.
Don't see Kennels.
Kennels, there we go. That is it. MGR Kennels not with us, and it's looking like he's not going to make it into this race. But if we can get confirmation in chat, that'll be absolutely brilliant. But we're just awaiting the grid start, and we're just about to get it underway now as they just about start the race. Let's get the Delta on now. And Levitius is going to lead us away from pole position with VSR Richard alongside him, the 2 championship rivals, as we've got 5 red lights. Lights are out and away we go as we start round 9 of the MSA Cup at Monza. and Levitius gets a good start ahead of VSR Richard in second position. They're going to be duking it out as we come up to the first turn. VSR Richard is going to hold on to second position. Nearly contact between Levitius and Richard for P1 and P2 respectively. JDJ P3, VSR Fish in P4, Panic Potato in P5 with VSR Giller in P6, Nutcap in P7, Lightning Lorry in P8, VSR Wolfie P9. We've got two side by side between Puma Racing Neil and Latari Racing, duking it out for that 10th position. Who's going to come out on top? Latari Racing is going to have the inside line for the next turn, and Latari is going to hold off Puma Racing Nil to hold on to that 10th position with Puma Racing Nil in P11 and Nitro Merlin at the back of the grid in P12, Rob.
Fantastic start for the drivers there. Turn 1 at Monza is known for many drivers and many contacts, but they all got through there really clean, and a fantastic start for quite a few drivers. Levy leading the way, but from the back of the grid, I must say Latari got an absolutely phenomenal start and makes his way up to P10.
Yes, indeed he does. Indeed he does. But we have got a bit of a slipstream train, with VSR Richard leading it. The gap between Levitius and Richard already 9/10 of a second. Now they're both on the medium tyre, so Levitius has got a very, very good getaway on the opening lap. Richard will be looking to stay in the hunt here, stay in that slipstream, because if he doesn't, then Levitius could start peeling away. But yeah, VSR Richard just in front of VSR JDJ. Then we've got Fish in P4. Panic Potato is looking to challenge him now, who has Giller alongside him as well. Giller's going to have the slipstream to Fish, so he's going to take that position away, and Giller up the inside as well. And hold on a minute. We've got a bit of ghosting there, and Giller goes a little bit sideways as well as Nutcap looks to power on past him into P6, Rob.
Unbelievable stuff. The drive that Giller got out of Parabolic has absolutely launched him up the home straight. Unusual to see a bit of ghosting in turn 1. I'm not sure why that's occurred, but look at him go. He's on the racing soft. He's opted for the soft tyre first, and he was absolutely flying into turn 1 there, Flawed.
Yes, indeed, and he also tried to fly through into the second chicane as well, but Nutcap read his advances and anticipated what he was going to do and was able to undercut him back into 6th position. So that is how they are, but they are starting to spread out already then, because there is a 2.8 second gap between Levitius and Panic Potato. Panic Potato just behind VSR Fish, battling for that P4, but it looks like Richard has lost the toe to Levitius, because the gap is already 1.7 seconds to Levitius. So Levitius having a very, very strong start to the race. We're only on lap 2 of 28, so a lot can happen, but so far so good for Levitius, Rob.
Yeah, starting on the medium tyre, the front runners, all of them starting on the medium, so Levitius, Richard and JDJ on the medium. It's Fish on the racing soft, which is why he's made up some places. He's settled into a slipstream, but it does look like Potato on the medium has got ever such a slightly better run deep into the slipstream. Will we see Paddy Potato make a move into turn 1? He pulls out. Oh, you go for 2 cars, Flawed. Oh, wow, absolutely phenomenal stuff. Makes the pass, keeps it clean around the outside. Will he get the drive out? He does, and he maintains that manoeuvre. Up to P5 goes Fish.
Yes, absolute fantastic racing. There could have been all sorts of carnage at turn 1 and 2 there, but it was a well timed and well executed move by Panic Potato as he moves up into 4th position, and now he's going to try and challenge the 2 VSR drivers in front of him, VSR Richard and VSR JDJ, for P2, 3 and 4 respectively. Fish is not going to leave him alone,
he's
but he's
picked
got
up a penalty as well there, Flawed. Sorry to cut in. He has picked up a penalty there just into Lesmo 1, I believe. It's a 1 second penalty to Fish, and those racing soft, that tyre advantage he's going to see fall away with that penalty.
So have a quick look on the replay just to see where he went wide. In fact, it looks like he did it at the second chicane. So we'll go back onto the live feed now, and yeah, he's going to serve that 1 second penalty right now, which will bring Puma Nutcap into the fight now, with Lightning Lorry just behind and VSR Wolfie just behind the two as well in P8. So Nutcap is going to close that deficit. It is down to slipstream range as the gap is now just under a second. So Nutcap with two of the other drivers behind him will be pulled into this fight for 5th position. But how is the top looking? Panic Potato still looking to make a move on JDJ, but he's got the advantage of the slipstream to his teammate Richard in second position. But Richard, oh, nearly contact between Richard and JDJ. JDJ around the outside and moves past his teammate Richard into second position. Then a little bit of a mistake from Richard as he went a little bit deep, and there was JDJ to sweep up and move up into second position. But Levitis has developed a 2 second gap to JDJ now, so they're going to have to work as a team to try and catch up with Levitius. So we'll see if that works out for them or not. But of course, Panic Potato is still lurking in the background in 4th position, just under 4/10 of a second. In fact, 3/10 of a second now. So Panic Potato looking rather competitive at this stage as we come through Lesmo 2 for the 4th time of asking. Yeah, VSR Fish with a big gap to Panic Potato now, and he's got Nutcap still in that slipstream range. Now, something I didn't notice, Rob, is that VSR Fish is actually... Giller, on what, sorry?
What we didn't notice is VSR Giller, for some reason, I haven't seen the incident floor, but he's a minute behind with extensive engine damage, absolutely crawling back to the pits. Not sure what's gone on now, but his race is absolutely ruined.
Right, well, I was just about to get onto the note that VSR Fish is on the soft tyres, so actually not doing so great on the softest of compounds, with actually Panic Potato all over the rear side of VSR Richard now as he looks to power on past. Now, of course, Richard has got the slipstream to JDJ. JDJ pulls to the inside. Panic Potato's got to try and go through the middle of them. And he looks to get past JDJ. 3 will definitely not go into 1. JDJ does pull around the outside, and Panic Potato with the old switcheroo past VSR Richard to move up into P3, Rob.
3 do not go into 1, and Panic Potato timed that to absolute perfection, pulled out of the first entry and then pulled almost a switchback move. He got the double slipstream all the way down the home straight into turn 1. Absolutely phenomenal move. Into P3 goes Panic Potato.
Indeed, as they go a little bit squirrely out the exit on turn 2. Sorry, the second chicane, as I get my turns mixed up there. Turn 4, I think that is. But yeah, VSR Richard looking to fight back on Panic Potato, but didn't get the best exit out of Lesmo 2. And Panic Potato is looking to home in on VSR JDJ as he tries to take that second position away from him. We're going to have a look on that replay from Panic Potato though, because what a fantastic move that was.
It was absolutely incredible. Flawed, while you look back on that, Latari has picked up a little bit of a track penalty, and unfortunately it does look like Giller is retiring from this race.
Oh wow. So big news in this race at Monza then, as we just see Panic Potato perform a fantastic move on VSR Richard to move up into 3rd position. As we look back on board with Panic Potato now, he is putting JDJ under immense pressure as we come across the line to finish lap 5 and move on to lap 6 then. Panic Potato with a good run on JDJ. Is he going to send it? I don't think he is. He may be saving a little bit of fuel here as JDJ gets late on the brakes as we go into turn 1 and turn 2. and JDJ gets a good exit as well, so he will be able to hold off Panic Potato for the time being. VSR Richard is a further 7/10 of a second down in P4, and yeah, certainly Rob, this is very interesting because of course fuel saving is required depending on the type of strategy that they're running. Now of course they're on the medium tyres, and in my testing I was struggling to get more than 8 laps on the mediums, as well as try to save enough fuel. But we're on lap 6, and we can see with Panic Potato he's got just under half a tank, so it looks like they're going to be able to run a lot longer than I did, and it looks like maybe they're doing the 2-stopper here, Rob.
Yes, I think even when tested floor, we did bring it up that the fact that there are more cars on track, there's more slipstream to be had, so drivers managing to save a little bit more fuel than perhaps in some of the test sessions. The only one that isn't, of course, is Levy, because he's out in front. He's got absolutely nobody to pull him along. But Flawed, his lap delta is 149.4. The last 2 laps consistently. He's absolutely flying on the mediums.
Yes, he is indeed. In fact, if you look at the last 4 laps, you are talking 3/10 separating the 4 laps. So very, very consistent from Levitis. Fuel looking reasonably good as well, just between 1/4 of a tank. The tyres looking also in good condition as well. When we look at JDJ, his tyres are not as good. Panic Potato with similar kind of tyre wear to him, but certainly not the pace of Levitis. So I think Levitis is trying to prove to us all that he is the king at Monza. But Panic Potato gets a good run on JDJ. Now, is he going to try and power past JDJ, or is he just going to hang back and try to save a little bit more fuel so that he can maybe produce the undercut in the pits? Well, he's going to pull to the inside now. JDJ on the outside. JDJ later on the brakes, and will remain in second position for the time being. Panic Potato still with a 8/10 of a second gap over VSR Richard in P4. But is there any battles going on a little bit further down in the grid, Rob?
There are many battles. Nutcap is increasingly closing the gap into Lightning Lorry, but talking of movers and shakers, Flawed, we have seen the first pit stop of the race, and it is Latari Racing. He's off the hard tyre compound at lap 7, lap 6, and onto the mediums.
Right, interesting. Okay, so maybe Latari Racing going for that alternate 3-stop strategy then. Yeah, very as Latari just picks up a half-a-second penalty, possibly a commentator's curse there. But VSR Giller, yeah, very sad to see him in the pit lane, which may well count as a drop round for him in P12. Nitro Merlin up.
Potato is definitely about to make a move. Sorry to interject
there,
Flawed. He's got an excellent drive out of Parabolica as he sets the fastest lap of the race as well with a 149.1. He's side by side, almost JDJ, front wheel to back wheel on the inside line. Is he going to make this stick? He's later on the brakes. Oh, what an absolutely phenomenal move. Panic Potato into P2, Flawed.
Yeah, fantastic move. We was on board there, and you can see the close-up there. He timed his braking to perfection and able to power past JDJ into second position. Now JDJ may be looking at this and thinking, okay, now this is the time where we can save a little bit of fuel here, with his fuel looking a little bit precarious right now, just under 1/4 of a tank, although we're on lap 8 as I said, so you know, this is kind of on course really, possibly getting 10 laps out of this fuel tank. But yeah, JDJ, this is his opportunity now to save a little bit of fuel, do a lot of short shifting as we just saw there. But Richard, this is not looking good for his championship. He's the closest to Levitis for the title race, Richard really needs to make sure he gets a second position from this race if he's got any chance of fighting with Levitis in the last race of the championship next week. But Levitis, yes, certainly looking very good right now. 4.2 seconds is the lead over Panic Potato then. So his race is going from strength to strength. So 4.3 seconds is the lead now. Panic Potato will be using more fuel at the moment. Yeah.
Nutcap, sorry, once again, Flawed, I was locked into a battle between Lightning Lorry and Fishing to Parabolica, and Nutcap on the inside, Lightning Lorry on the outside, and out of nowhere, Nutcap's just taken the pair of them.
Wow. Okay, we've got the replay saved, so we'll have a look when it's safe to do so. VSR Wolfie is... Oh, Nutcap has allowed Lightning Lorry through there.
Maybe a little bit of contact. I didn't see it on the live. Maybe he felt that there's a little bit of contact, but Nutcap just dived straight up the pair of you. Look clean to me.
Okay, well, I've got the replay saved, so we're going to have a look at the replay. Like I say, when it's safe to do so, because Nutcap is going to come back at him for round 2 of maybe trying to make the overtake on him. But it does look like the Lightning Lorry's just about to pull away. So is it safe enough to get on this replay? I wonder. I think we're going to quickly have a look now. So Puma Nutcap was in P7 at the time. He had VSR Fish and Lightning Lorry just in front of him as they went through. Parabolica, yes, sneaky one down the inside of VSR Fish, and that in turn was able to get past Lightning Lorry as well, as he had the outside line. But then, yeah, I'm not sure why Puma Nutcap actually lifted there, because looked clean enough to me. But at the minute it is how it is. Line astern, Lightning Lorry P5, Nutcap P6 and VSR Wolfie in a bit of a train, P6 and P7 for them. So very tight between the 3 drivers, Rob. As Levitis comes in to the pits from pole position then, 2% of fuel. Looks like Panic Potato, VSR Richard and JDJ following suit as well, all with very similar tyres and fuel then. Lightning Lorry also coming in from P5. Looks like Nutcap is staying out with VSR Wolfie hunting him down in second position. Both on no, in fact Nutcap on the hard, Wolfie on the medium tyres then, but he has saved a fair chunk of fuel. Nutcap of course going for the longest stint on the racing hards, with maybe a lap's worth of fuel, would you say, Rob?
Yeah, I was just looking at the front runners there, because some interesting stops have occurred. Flawed Levy opting for another set of medium tyres, as did Panic Potato. So some interesting pit strategies, not what I predicted at the beginning of the race. I'm just having a quick look at what JDJ has opted for, mediums as well.
Okay, and Richard. So
yeah, so a double medium stint for the top 4, Flawed.
Yeah, which means that they still need to pick the hards and the softs, so that will make it a 3-stop strategy. So it probably means then they're going to spend less time on the hard tyres, I do believe, because I think they'll probably get 6 laps on the softs. If they're going to do another, 9 laps on the mediums, that'll take it to 18, 6 on the softs, and maybe 4 on the hards, maybe?
But Nutcap will be in this lap for sure. He's almost out of fuel. He opted for the racing hard at the beginning of the race. He leads the race by 6/10 of a second with Wolfie behind, who was on mediums. He will stop this lap as well, as will Nitro. Just looking at the deficit, it's only 18 seconds.
Nutcap's gone.
Left.
He's gone, yeah. Disconnected from the race, which means that VSR Wolfie will inherit the race lead, although he's coming into the pit lane now. Nitro Merlin, I think, will follow suit as well, because he's got just a drop of fuel left, so he'll also come in. And then Levitius will inherit the race lead at the end of lap 10 then, as he comes across the line now to start lap 11. 5.2 seconds is the lead over Panic Potato, but he has got JDJ for company now, as the race between the pair is not letting up. But VSR Wolfie just behind, VSR Richard just behind in P4. and JDJ opting not to go for the move. So again, playing a bit of strategy here, as it looks like he's looking to use that slipstream as Panic Potato goes sideways out of the first chicane, and did well to keep the car pointing forward. But yeah, JDJ playing the smart game here, using that slipstream of Panic Potato, and looking to short shift as much as possible to save as much fuel in the tank. But Nutcap has joined, but it's no good. He's out of the race. JDJ gets a good run of Panic Potato, who didn't get the best of runs. So JDJ up the inside to move up into P2. Panic Potato down into P3. He's sandwiched between the two VSR drivers of JDJ and Richard for P2 and P4, and Panic Potato P3. So Panic Potato probably in a precarious position right now. But yeah, JDJ of course now will be looking to power away, but again, the fuel saving so important in this race, Rob.
It is absolutely indeed, Flawed. Sorry, why you were involved in that. We did just catch on board with Latari Racing, who was made up 2 places, overtook Lightning Lorry into Regia, and then managed to get past Fish on the exit of Lesmo 2. Picks up a half-second penalty, which is going to make all of that progress undone.
Yes, indeed, as Lightning Lorry just gets past him as well to move up into 7th position. So yeah, very well, you got to feel for Latari, isn't it? Good racing initially, but then picks up that half-a-second penalty, and that good work is undone then, isn't it? So yeah, we'll have to start again from P8, but looking to power past Lightning Lorry now, and easily moves up into P7, maybe into P6 as well, as Fish gets on the anchors, and it's going to be very tight between the 2 drivers, and VSR Fish goes a little bit sideways on the exit as well, just about holds off Latari Racing for the time being, but Latari Racing is going to switch to the outside now, as he looks like he is going to power on past him. I think Fish will give way to him, and indeed he does. I think that would be the wise decision as we go into the second chicane, Rob.
Yeah, it was a good decision there. Just keeping my close eye on Panic Potato. That gap has been coming down as JDJ gets all sorts of sideways on the exit of Lesmo 2, and as Panic Potato going to get a run up towards Ascari. He's a little bit too far back, 3.5 tenths of a second, but JDJ ever so squirrely on exit out of the Lesmo 2, nearly put it into the gravel, managed to collect the car and keep it going, and no move for Potato this time round. One to watch, Flawed.
Yes, indeed. I may quickly look at the replay whilst we're got a chance here. So JDJ, as we came out of Lesmo 1 onto Lesmo 2, went very wide on the exit, picked up a bit of dirt on his tyres as well, and did well to save it to remain in second position. But Panic Potato is now going to challenge him for that second position as we come down the pit wall straight to start lap number 13 of 28. JDJ looks like he is going to hold off Panic Potato for the time being as we go into the first chicane. So again, like I say, it's just about the timing, isn't it, of these overtakes, and when they've saved enough fuel that they can then push on through to start pushing on their actual laps, I think, Rob.
Yeah, this is getting towards the mid stage of the race now, and the tyres, they're well into their second stint. All drivers are now onto their second stint. The hard runners at the start opting for mediums, with Neil Nitro onto the soft. Unfortunately, Nutcap on the hard tyre at the start has been forced to retire from disconnection. But yeah, the strategy is going to start to play. We've got a lovely battle between P6 through 8, as well as the battle up top. I don't know where to keep my eyes forward because this is all action everywhere.
Yes, indeed. Well, we'll flick between the two, but yeah, as close as you like then. Yeah, JDJ with a 6/10 of a second lead over TNR Panic Potato. 9/10 is the gap between Panic Potato and VSR Richard for P3 and P4 respectively, and then the fight for P6 with Latari Racing just in front of VSR Fish for P6, P7, Lightning Lorry just behind in P8. But interestingly, VSR Fish is on the racing hard tyres, Latari and Lightning Lorry on the medium tyres. So Fish at a bit of a disadvantage. However, in saying that, Latari's tyres not looking great at the minute, and this is where perhaps the racing hards are at least equal to their medium tyres, maybe even a little bit quicker at this stage of the race. Looking at the delta as well, very, very close between the pair of them, although Latari Racing did hit a 1:50.6 on the last lap with a 1:50.8 for VSR Fish, and similar to a Lightning Lorry in P8. Then it's a little bit spread out just behind with Puma Racing Nil in P9, 4.2 seconds behind and 6 seconds in front of Nitro Merlin in P10, and of course Gilla is in the pit lane. So at the moment we've just got 10 drivers out on circuit. So on lap 14 then, Levitius has now got a 7-second lead over VSR JDJ. Levitius looking absolutely formidable out there, it has to be said. Very, very consistent on his lap times, currently running 1:49s, and actually his fastest lap time was set on the last lap with a 1:49.332. Current fastest man on the track, however, is Panic Potato with a 1:49.1 set on lap 7, but he's embroiled in a bit of a VSR battle sandwiched between the pair of them. 7/10 of a second down on JDJ and Richard, 8/10 adrift of Panic Potato in P4. VSR Wolfie is still on his own, and yet we're still embroiled with a three-way battle for that 6th position. Latari Racing still holding on to that 6th position. But it does look like VSR
He'll
Fish...
be boxing this lap.
Yes.
Latari will definitely be boxing this lap. So that battle for 3 will turn to a battle of 2. However, Latari Racing has already used the hard and the medium tyre. So it'll be interesting to see what he does here. Is he going to go onto the soft for a shorter stint, or is he going to save that softer compound towards the end of the race? Puma Neil, however, he has used the hard and the medium, but Lightning Lorry has only used the medium compound thus far, so still needs to use the other 2 compounds.
Indeed. As I saw a little bit of lag on screen there, not exactly sure what happened, but Lightning Lorry just holding firm in 7th position, again, I think using that slipstream to VSR Fish then, who currently holds that 6th position. He is on a, well, I was going to say a longer stint, but actually when we're looking at the fuel, actually Lightning Lorry has less fuel than VSR Fish, who's on the softer of the compounds, on the medium tyres that is. Yeah,
Fish has less fuel. Other way around.
That's what
Fish
I said.
has got less fuel than Lorry. Oh, sorry, my apologies, Lord, I do apologise. He's also on the hard tyre as well.
Yes. That's what I'm saying. Like, he's got less fuel, but he's on the hard tyre. You would think that he'll be on this stint longer than Lightning Lorry, but Lightning Lorry's actually got more fuel, but on the softer of the compounds. So on the mediums, that is. So 3/10 is the gap. It looks like Lightning Lorry has used that slip to VSR Fish to his advantage, and yeah, he'll be able to stay out a little bit longer, I feel. But let's get back on board with
JDJ massively wide out of Parabolica. Is Potato going to get a move into turn 1? Flawed, I'll leave this one with you.
Indeed, yeah. Panic Potato with a great run now. I think he's going to hold back though. VSR Richard is 6/10 of a second, so Panic Potato won't have to worry about VSR Richard just behind. And yeah, I've got the replay saved of what happened there, but it looks like Panic Potato is going to hold off from overtaking JDJ for the time being. So let's have a look on board with the replay with the oohs and the ahs that came from Rob there. As we came to Parabolica on lap 15, and JDJ looked like he got on the marbles and actually did run massively wide there, picked up a bit of dirt on the tyres, and that would have definitely slowed him down. But yeah, Panic Potato really kind of staying in the long game, I would say, Rob, trying to save as much fuel as possible, and maybe perform the undercut in the pit lane, I think.
Well, we know how powerful the undercut can be here at Monza. Of course, Monza having one of the shortest pit lanes in F1. It's not obviously every track in the world, but one of the shortest pit windows in F1. It's about the 30-second mark with a full tank of fuel. So you're absolutely right. Panic Potato will be using that slipstream to his advantage. Levy is 7.5 up the road, so need to worry about there. JDJ going wide out the parabolica will not help his chances. I mean, Flawed, he was so wide, he was signing autographs. So Panic Potato must have lifted somewhat, and as that closed the gap between Richard, 1.2 at the moment. Richard seems to be struggling this evening.
Yeah, he does. I mean, this is where it really counts. I mean, if he's got any chance of challenging Levitis, he needs to. He needed to really finish in front of Levitis, but at the very, very least, if Levitis is going to win this race, he had to come second position in this race. It's looking like JDJ is good for that second, as Puma Racing Neil does come in from 8th position on very low fuel and on the medium tyre. So we'll stay on board with the battle for P2. But Panic Potato, yeah, I mean, look, you can see with the fuel now, JDJ with just under a quarter of a tank, Panic Potato with just over a quarter of a tank of fuel. So he has saved a fair chunk of fuel over JDJ. It just remains to be seen how long Panic Potato will stay out on this stint. Or does he pit at the same time as JDJ, knowing that he won't have to put as much fuel in, as JDJ again doesn't get the best of runs out of Lesmo 2. But yeah, Panic Potato, you can see with his inputs, with his gear shifting, he's massively short shifting and massively saving fuel. Here's a little bit of contact between the two of them. Luckily, I think Panic Potato just about got on the anchors just in time. But VSR Richard now is going to be challenging Panic Potato. So maybe VSR Richard was listening to what I was saying, and this is his way, fighting his way to show us that he is not out of the running for this championship. But yeah, Panic Potato got a very, very good run there on JDJ. Is he going to look to now power past JDJ? JDJ, well, no, he's not. I really thought Panic Potato was going to take the inside line there.
He doesn't want to or need to. Flawed. Levy's too far up the road. 9 seconds, it would make absolutely no sense to go past, lose the slip. And I think that's exactly what VSR Richard is doing as well. They've got significantly better fuel than JDJ, but also Levy has got even less. So this is about fuel. This is about saving fuel, narrowing that pit window and trying to get the advantage through the pits.
Yes, indeed. So where Levitis has extended his lead, maybe they'll make up that time in the pit lane. So we'll have to see how this fares, or how this plays out in the remaining 10 laps of this race at Monza for round 9 of this MSA Cup 2025. But yeah, certainly this is the crucial point in the race, the crucial point in the championship, and this could be make or break for a few of the drivers here. JDJ, yeah, still leading over Panic Potato. The gap is 7/10 of a second. But yeah, JDJ with the flashing red light. Panic Potato with fuel to spare, with VSR Richard with very similar fuel to him as well. Yeah, go on, Rob.
Apologies, sorry to jump in there. Just to note, Flawed, none of these drivers in the top 4. The rest of the grid is pretty spread out, but none of the drivers in the top 4 have yet to use either the hard compound or the softer. They will still need to use both. So this pit could be absolutely paramount. Levy has used a significant amount of fuel, more fuel. He now pulls into the pits. Will we see JDJ go in as well? We do, as they all steep. No, VSR Richard stays out.
Okay, interesting turn of events then. VSR Wolfie, I think, will come into the pits because he's got nothing on them soft tyres as he does pit from P5. So yes, VSR Richard trying something a little bit different then because he's still got some life left in the medium tyres and he's still got enough fuel.
And the fuel.
Exactly, enough fuel to last him at least another lap. So he'll be looking to try and push as much as possible, hoping that he's got enough life in them tyres to set a really good time and not lose too much time to the likes of Levitis, who has now come out on the racing hard tyres with just under half a tank of fuel. So Levitis looking to not stay on these racing hards for too long, but the gap is 14 seconds between VSR Richard and Levitis. The gap between Levitis and Panic Potato, however, is 9.8 seconds, also picking the hard tyres with just over half a tank of fuel. JDJ is on the soft tyres in P4 then, so the gap is 3.3 seconds, but closing as we come through the second chicane. The gap has come down by about half a second because the gap is beneath that 3-second margin. So JDJ on a bit of a flyer right now, but we know that these opening laps have got to be perfect for JDJ because these tyres are going to die so quickly in the laps to come, Rob.
Yeah, and what I can categorically tell you, Flawed, is this race is not over because there are a number of drivers that will definitely be trying to push this race to the end and will not need to stop again. Bear in mind that pit window with fuel can be anywhere up to 30 seconds as Richard goes into the pits, but Laurie has done a medium hard, still to use the soft. However, Nitro has fulfilled his tyre compound, has as Neil, has as Wolfie, so they'll be on the one stopper. They might be going to the end of that pit window is going to get ever so small.
Indeed, and we just see Levitis come across the line to inherit the race lead. VSR Richard just coming out of the pits now. Panic Potato will have the overspeed and will power past VSR Richard into P2. VSR Richard will rejoin in 4th position because JDJ just about gets past the pit lane to move up into P3. VSR Richard rejoins in at P4 with half a tank of fuel, racing hard tyres. So JDJ will have the upper hand on this stint because he's on the soft tyres. He has closed that gap to Panic Potato to within 1.4 seconds now. So this is a crucial part of the race for JDJ. He does need to make the move on Panic Potato as quick as possible, which is easier said than done if Red Bull Ring was anything to go by, Rob.
Oh, sorry to interrupt. We've got to move from Lightning Lorry up towards, I think it is Regia. It is Regia. Gets the braking absolutely spot on, moves up to P5 past Wolfie.
Okay, let's have a look on that replay now then. So yeah, going around turn number 3 at the Curva Grande, I do believe it's called. VSR Wolfie had the outside for the second chicane. Lightning Lorry down the inside, times his braking to perfection, and that is a clean pass to move up into P5.
Yeah, fantastic move there. Same, very similar tyre wear and compound, although very different on the fuel between the two drivers. It is Lightning Lorry with a significantly lighter car. 8 laps to go. We'll need to box again. Just checking my notes, and it doesn't look Lightning Lorry still needs to stop for the soft compound tyre, so maybe leaving it towards the last 4 or 5 laps before he gets in. Well,
JDJ just making the move on Panic Potato as we start lap 21 of 28. Of course, we know that JDJ on the superior tyres gets the move done before we got into the first chicane to move up into P2. Panic Potato down to P3, but we do know that Panic Potato is yet to use the soft tyres. So JDJ timing his overtake to perfection there because he didn't want to be held up by Panic Potato in the corners, so it's worked out beautifully for him. Yeah.
The flip reverse could work beautifully for Panic Potato though, because if he can conserve a little bit of fuel in the slipstream, Flood, JDJ will be on the hard compound for the last stint, because I don't believe he's got medium, soft. Panic Potato has gone medium, hard.
Yes, indeed he has. So yeah, he will have probably the last 5 or 6 laps on the soft tyres, Panic Potato. So he'll be looking to stay in that slipstream as long as possible, with JDJ's tyres burning to a crisp. Really, the front left tyre approaching that window where once they get to about that 50% mark, that's when they fall off a cliff. So the gap is currently just under a second. So Panic Potato doing really well on them hard tyres, and if he can get a good run out of the final turn at Parabolica, then this could set him up to stay in the fight here. Yeah, he does really well there actually, Rob. The gap is still under a second, so just depending on how much they're revving out the car here, which it does look like he is short shifting a little bit, but that slipstream is pulling him along here, so this is definitely helping out Panic Potato. Nicely. Yeah,
and we know that racing soft compound, Flawed, we know once that starts to drop, it drops off an absolute cliff, and that's where Panic Potato on the racing hard, although the slower compound, he's still putting in 49.9s. If you can stay in that slipstream, that compound is going to drop off like a bomb.
Indeed, and things starting to hot up a little bit further down the grid as well, because VSR Fish is within half a second as Neil goes a little bit deep now. Fish all over the back bumper of Puma Racing. Neil, as he tries to duke it out for that 7th position, the gap is just under 0.3 of a second, although it does look like Fish is actually saving a little bit of fuel there. I think Latari Racing just coming in from changing onto the soft tyres, so he's going to stay on them tyres for the rest of the race, looking to try and claw back the 10-second advantage that VSR Nitro Merlin currently holds in 9th position. I think Nitro Merlin will be staying on this medium tyre for the rest of the race, with just under 3/4 of a tank. So Latari Racing with similar fuel as well, actually a little bit more.
Levy in. Indeed, yeah. Levy in this stop, Flawed. So this is a really pinnacle point of the race. Levy to use a soft tyre. That is a pretty long stint on the soft tyre. He's got very little fuel, so he's used absolutely every drop of it, as JDJ does take over as the leader of the race. But Panic Potato also in as Richard. So this is exciting.
It is indeed, and it's starting to hot up because Lightning Lorry as well, just coming around Parabolica now. Yes, of course he has got a lot less fuel, so they're on different stints of the race, but yeah, VSR Wolfie, I mean, he's starting to come back into the fight here. VSR Wolfie on the hard tyres with a lot more fuel there, as Levitius does rejoin in 2nd position, 19.5 seconds adrift of JDJ, who currently inherits the provisional race lead. Lightning Lorry up into P3. Now that's interesting, just in front of Panic Potato. So he's got between Panic Potato and VSR Richard in P8 at the minute. So quite a bit further behind, but of course he's now on the soft tyres with just under 3/4 of a tank. 2.4 seconds is the gap to VSR Fish, with a bit of a train actually going from what was it, Panic Potatoes. He looks to make a move on his teammate Lightning Lorry to move up into P3 then. So Panic Potato looking to push as much as possible on them soft tyres. Lightning Lorry will fold back in P4 with VSR Wolfie all over his tail as well. Yep, he will be in this lap. Puma Racing Neil and VSR Fish going side by side. Fish thought about making the overtake but tucks back in, but Puma Racing Neil's soft tyre tyres burnt to a crisp right now. Nothing left on them racing soft tyres. VSR Fish, well, he will be staying on this stint for the rest of the race, as it looks like Neil just allowed him past at Ascari. VSR Richard goes massively wide out of Ascari there as he looked to try to avoid Puma Racing Neil, and Richard picks up a half a second penalty for his troubles. Now let's quickly have a look at the replay and see exactly what happened, because we just saw him in the background, but as he approached the exit, Puma Racing Neil just slowed down, and Richard had to take evasive action around the outside, and that has cost him dearly, because he's picked up that half a second penalty, and he's going to have to serve that at the end of lap 24, Rob.
Oh, that's going to be absolutely devastating for his race. Richard back in P6 at the moment, 32 seconds, 31 second off the lead of the race, but it's not P1 he needs to be concerned about. VSR JDJ will need to box, and with only an 18-19 second lead over Levy, he will not need much fuel but the tyres. Oh, sorry,
Levi's picks up a 1 second penalty for cutting track limits at Rettifilio for the second chicane, and yeah, I mean,
Regia.
Is it Regia? Oh, right, okay, sorry.
Regia for the second.
Right, okay.
It is. That's a big penalty flaw. That's going to be really impactful on his race.
So yeah, this will throw a little bit of doubt, but Levitius did have a comfortable lead. Now we do predict that the pit lane loss is anything between 25 and 35 seconds, depending on how much fuel they need to put in the tank. But we know that with JDJ, with next to nothing in the fuel tank, won't need to put much in as he comes into the pits now from the race lead. So the gap was 19 seconds. He's got 8% of fuel left. Levitius should inherit the race lead as he took that penalty on that lap. So Levitius just coming around the final corner now. He's going to come across the line to start lap number 25. JDJ still in the pit lane. So JDJ... Yeah, out he comes now. Panic Potato just coming across the start-finish line now. He's going to have the overspeed, but is JDJ going to inherit second? Yes, he is. With Panic Potato with the overspeed, so the gap will come tumbling down, but the gap is 3 seconds. Now, Panic Potato is on the soft tyres as he goes a little bit deep into the chicane. That compromises his line on the exit, but the gap is 2.8 seconds to his rival JDJ. Is there enough time for Panic Potato to steal that second position with completely different tyres? The soft tyres right now, Rob, quite a bit quicker than the hard tyres.
They are significantly quicker. This is going to be 3 qualifying laps. He's going to need 48s to get anywhere near where he needs to. Currently, JDJ running in the 49s on the hard tyre outlap with a 59. Obviously, that was his first outlap after pitting. The gap to P1 is 6 seconds, and gaining on the soft tyre. Levy looks out, seems to have checked out. He's going quicker again on his personal best. 0.5 of a second improvement on his PB. How well is Panic Potato going to be able to hold onto those tyres? He's already 3/10 up on his PB, but as is Richard, absolutely flying on the soft tyre. And there's a massive train of VSL drivers that are all going to be helping, I imagine, helping one another down that home straight forward. This is definitely not over, other than Levy out in front. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with Fish, he's on the medium tyres, Wolfie is on the hard tyres, but he's still in that tyre, and as the laps roll on by, the race will start coming back for VSR Wolfie, so maybe he's not going to be challenging the podium, but he could be challenging 5th position.
For sure.
Yeah, so yeah, it's looking very tight between them. Richard, of course, on the soft tyres, as you mentioned. However, the gap is 4.8 seconds to Panic Potato, with the tyres dying, and very, very similar between the wear of Panic Potato's soft tyres and VSR Richard, but you can see the gap now dwindling down between Panic Potato and JDJ, with 3 laps remaining. The gap is within 1.4 seconds, so Panic Potato...
Setting purple's flawed.
Yeah. He is.
Paddy Potato setting purples through sector 2 on that racing soft. We're on lap 26. We've got 2 more to go after this one. And that gap just continues to tumble as JDJ looks like he's really finding it hard to wrestle that car around Lesmo 2 on the racing hard. You call it, because I can't.
It's certainly going to be very, very tight in the remaining 2 and a bit laps that we've got left. As I hear chimes in the background there, I'm not sure where that was coming from. But yeah, certainly the gap is, well, it's remained 1.2 seconds for the time being. And Paddy Potato knows he's going to have to nail this this final corner of lap number 26 because them tyres are dying. So as we come up to the Parabolica now, it looks like Paddy Potato is within that slipstream range as we've the gap has just come beneath that 1 second margin. So Paddy Potato is going to have the power down the pit wall straight. The gap
is almost a second faster. He was almost a second faster that last lap, Flawed.
Yes. Yes, indeed. But yeah, it's just going to be interesting to see what the state of them soft tyres are going to be for Paddy Potato. But look at the gap dwindling down. You can see it visibly now as the gap is down to just beneath 7/10 of a second. And JDJ will be pulling him along. It's just interesting with the fuel. JDJ has got a little bit more less fuel, I think, than Paddy Potato. So Paddy Potato will be pushing a little bit more as he goes purple through sector 1. Can you get a good exit? Yes, he can. The gap has come down to half a second now. So it is going to be a blockbuster finish for the fight for second position as Paddy Potato looks to steal that away from JDJ as we come through Lesmo 2 for the 27th time. JDJ actually gets a better run out of the exit. The gap between JDJ and Levitius is 8.4 seconds, so I think Levitius can rest on his laurels, I think. You know, making sure that he doesn't make a mistake as we come through Ascari. JDJ gets a good run, and this is where I think Paddy Potato is struggling a little bit here, Rob, because the front tyres are to about 3/4 worn. So how are they going to get on?
1 lap to go.
There is
Similar
indeed.
story.
Yes. Go on.
Similar story back in P7. Flooded Atari Racing on the soft tyre makes moves on Nitro Merlin, but we're still 1 lap to go. Those tyres are absolutely screaming at him to
Paddy
give me some grip.
Paddy Potato moves to the outside of JDJ and gets the overspeed to move up into P2. Gets late on the brakes as well. JDJ trying it around the outside, and oh my God, he loses the back end slightly, and Paddy Potato will take that second position away from JDJ, Rob.
Yeah, covered the corner, the outside, or the inside. The outside became the inside. Paddy Potato covering off the corner, leaving absolutely no room for JDJ to stick one up the inside. Soft tyre, hard tyre, 1 lap to go. Who is going to hold this one out? Fuel is ultimately tight as the exit from JDJ is far superior to Lesmo 1. If he can get a good exit out of Lesmo 2, maybe a move into Ascari, those soft tyres are absolutely screaming.
They are indeed. They are indeed. This is definitely going to be a bit of a nail biter on this last lap. We do need to keep an eye on where Levitius is. He's just going through Ascari now. Yeah. So Paddy Potato currently advantage to him as we go into Ascari now. Paddy Potato, yes, definitely struggling on them front tyres. JDJ's going to have to absolutely send it now as we come out of Ascari. Levitius is at Parabolica, so we're going to have to move on to Levitius because he's just coming around the final corner now to win round 9 of the MSA Cup at Monza, who's going to have a big advantage to VSR Richard in the championship. Paddy Potato just holding off VSR JDJ, but JDJ is going to be in the slipstream, but it's not going to be enough, and he's run out of fuel as well. Panic Potato finishes in P2 with JDJ P3. VSR Richard comes home in the P4 with VSR Fish. It looks like he's just going to hold off VSR Wolfie to finish in P5 and VSR Wolfie in P6. Latari Racing looks like he will finish in P7 in front of TNR Lightning Lorry. In fact, there's a fight between Lightning Lorry and Nitro Merlin. Goes around the outside with Lightning Lorry running out of fuel on the final turn. Pure Racing nil up into P9 and Lightning Lorry down into P10. But what a fantastic race that was, Rob.
Oh, Flawed, I know the camera was on Levy. Of course, he took the checkered flag, and an absolutely phenomenal drive once again from Levy as he takes his 5th win of the season and extends his lead at the top. But once again, we saw it at Red Bull, an epic defense into Parabolica from Panic Potato. He left absolutely no room for JDJ to make a move. Unbelievable defense once again.
Indeed it was, and yeah, Monza never fails to disappoint. But let's just read you through the provisional race results, just in case there was any stewards' inquiries in the race. But one thing for sure, Levitius takes home, as Rob said, his 5th victory in a row, and that's put him in great stead to become champion of the MSA Cup in 2025 with the fastest lap as well, 1:48.5. He finishes just under 9 seconds ahead of his teammate TNR Panic Potato with an excellent 2nd position, who just about fought off VSR JDJ before the checkered line for JDJ to finish in 3rd position. We'll get the thoughts of the podium runners in a few moments time, but VSR Richard valiantly comes across the line in P4, but that is going to hurt his championship ahead of our last race next week. VSR Fish comes home in P5, just 2/10 in front of VSR Wolfie, who finishes in 6th position. Latari Racing did come home in 7th position, with VSR Nitro Merlin for 8th. In 9th position was Puma Racing Nil. Of course, it was Nitro Merlin and Neil who inherited 8th and 9th position, because Lightning Lorry did run out of fuel on the final turn of lap 28. He finishes in 10th, with VSR Giller, who didn't actually disconnect but retired in the pit lane. He gets 11th position. Nutcap did disconnect. He grabs 12th position, I do believe. But yeah, absolute phenomenal race that was. We will get the thoughts of the top 3 drivers now, so we'll be back in a few moments' time. Okay, so we're in the driver interview room now, and what a fantastic race that was. I mean, myself and Rob are still trying to recover after that one. But we're going to interview VSR JDJ, who came home in third position with a closely fought battle between yourself and TNR Panic Potato. But how are you feeling after that one, JDJ?
I have to say it was an extremely exciting race. Yeah, that it was full of emotions. Of course, now unfortunately I did lose the P2. Panic Potato did an awesome job getting past me on the first turn. But yeah, overall I'm quite happy with it. It was exciting. The race felt much shorter than it should have been because of the consistent battling. So it keeps you busy. Time flies. So yeah, overall happy with that one. Was great battling and was extreme fun.
Yeah, certainly from mine and Rob's perspective, I mean, we was on the edge of our seats. I mean, we didn't know which way it was going to go. It was a little bit unfortunate with Panic Potato just about holding you off on dying soft tyres there. But yeah, tell us about your strategy. Tell us, I mean, did the strategy that you went on, now obviously we knew that the hards, mediums and softs needed to be used, but did you change things up according to how the race was unfolding?
Yeah, of course I did. I knew when I passed Panic Potato and I saw him, I saw the delta between me and myself, Panic Potato and Richard. The delta wasn't changing a lot, so I knew there was a lot of fuel saving going on behind me because I was fuel saving. So for them not to be catching up to me means they've been fuel saving more. So I knew I was a bit in a problem because no matter how much I fuel save, they can always fuel save more and stay right at the rear of myself. So I decided to go. I was gonna go for the hard stint in the middle as well, but knowing that they would have gone into the pits with more fuel than I would have, I decided to go onto the soft so that I can have the benefit of defending on the hards at the end to give myself the best chance of defending to try and grab that P2. Initially it did work out in my favor, but I knew he was going to catch me at quite a rapid pace because of course he was on the softs and I already used the softs, so I had the hards left. I think if the gap closed a little bit quicker than it did, I would have had a better chance because the delta on that second last lap was just the perfect amount for him to be able to slingshot past me on the start finish straight and just gain that P2 and be able to defend after he passed me. And I tried my heart out afterwards to fight back for that second place, but at the end he was the victor out of that battle. So congratulations team, congratulations to Levitius for the win. But yeah, that was the thought process behind that.
Yeah, I think you just needed the race to be 29 laps, and maybe you would have stole that second position away from him. But but it is what it is, and it was a fantastic performance from you, Rob. New to the commentary booth, Rob. Have you got any questions, and what are your thoughts towards JDJ?
First of all, mate, fantastic watching. It's the first time I've had the chance to talk to you in person. I've been watching throughout the season just as an avid spectator of possibly some of the best racing I've seen on any GT7. But one win of the season, 6th podium of the season, currently 3rd in the championship. How, overall season findings, you were 19 points off the lead at the start. Are we still pushing for P2? What's the odds? How do we feel?
Of course, any position to be gained, I would love to gain in the championship. I do believe Levitius is the championship winner after this race, if I'm not wrong. So if that's the case, well done to Levitius. Had an awesome season, extreme pace. But yeah, we're gonna try to fight for that P2 if there's still a chance. I had a bit of bad luck in the beginning of the season, so I think that costed me for the fight, but I think taking away from how it started at the beginning of the season, I think I can be quite proud of myself for how the season has gone so far. Had solid results, some unlucky moments with how can I say, just incidents that have happened. So being able to fight still for the top 3 positions of the season after some bad luck, I feel quite pleased with that. So yeah, I'm excited for Le Mans, and yeah, I think it's me and Richard now fighting for P2.
Yeah, it definitely looks like a fantastic season. Yeah, it was a P10 in the first round of the season, but it is just 8 points deficit at the start of this race for P2. So, all is not lost and that battle is on. How do you prepare for a battle like that against teammate?
So of course we are teammates, but we don't necessarily play the team game because we're still all fighting for our own individual championships. So we'll have a lot of respect on the track, and we'll try not to cost each other some time, unnecessary times with battling and stuff like that. But the race is always on between all the VSR teammates. If we're fighting for positions, usually you'll see us always at the last 2 laps. That's when the real battling happens, because we just want the race to settle to give ourselves the best chance of getting the best possible positions. So yeah, now going into Le Mans, I'm sure Richard is always fast. So it's gonna be a tight one between him and myself, and it can go any way. So yeah, I'm excited to see how that ends. But yeah, no pressure because we're teammates, but we do understand the position that we're in. So we won't. There's no hard feelings when overtakes are being made, and yeah, no hard feelings.
Yeah,
So.
absolutely fantastic. Cannot wait for the last race of the season. Just a last question from myself, and then I'll hand you back to Flawed. That's 2 weeks in a row we've seen some extraordinary battles with Panic Potato. Both yourself and Richard managed to pass at Red Bull, but couldn't get it done tonight. It was the last corner. His defence is something of a marvel. How do you feel? Is it just the tyre offset that couldn't get the move done tonight, or was it just epic defence?
No, of course he did a brilliant job with the overtaking, and after he overtook myself, he had a proper, especially on one tires, he had a proper last lap. So I knew it was possible because usually at lap 6, that's when the delta on the soft completely drops, because then until lap 5 it's okayish, and then lap 6 I know it drops. So I knew even if he passed me, I could stick on him. I made a couple of mistakes because of course I was trying to push as hard as I can while keeping it on the track. Made a couple of mistakes on corner exits, which cost me a bit of time towards him. But I really did think I might have had enough to contest for the last corner. But he did a great job just keeping the delta high enough for me not to be able to pass. And then of course at the last corner I knew with the delta being that high, I wasn't gonna be able to make a move. So I just kept it clean, and I ran out of fuel. I thought I managed that quite well. So even if I passed him, it would have been worse because he would have passed me because of my fuel. So, but yeah, he did an epic defense, and yeah, that just he played it perfectly, and that's what got him to the P2.
Well, JDJ, it's been an absolute pleasure to watch you race this season, and it'll be an absolutely pleasure to watch you again next week. So that's all from me. Back over to you, Flawed.
Thank you, Rob. Thank you. So one final question. So obviously speaking about Le Mans next week, then the grand finale. So we now know that it is the Formula 3500 cars. I mean, what are your thoughts of that car? And is it a particular strength of yours? Is it something that you'll be able to take the fight to VSR Richard at Le Mans?
I'm not sure if it will be a strength of my car. I've never driven that car before, so I still don't know if it's going to be a strength of mine. But usually the olden day F1 cars are not particularly my strong point. But of course, there's time I can learn. I can learn to like it, or if I don't like it, I can force myself to like it. Yeah, let's see. Like I said last week, the track, at least I do love Le Mans. It's one of my favorite tracks. Um, so it's just about trying to learn that car quick enough, and maybe the track helps me. Maybe it gives me a little bit of a easier time with the car. Or maybe I love the car and maybe I'm extremely quick with the car. But we'll see. I'm excited for it because it's something new to that I think we've had in SMA before, because it's a completely different track to what we've driven and a completely different car to what we've driven. So I'm quite excited. So yeah, I'm gonna practice extremely hard, and yeah, I'm gonna hope to be able to grab the P2 if it's still in play. And I'm sure Richard's going to feel the same way, and I'm sure Richard's going to give me a very hard time, as he usually does. He's very quick, so let's try.
Okay, well, good luck in practice, because I in my testing, a bit of a nightmare to drive that thing. But then I'm not as skilled as you guys in the SMA. So yeah, best of luck to you on that one. But fantastic performance from you, and congratulations on that third position. Look forward to seeing how you get on next week, JDJ.
Thank you very much. Have a lovely one.
Yeah, you too, mate. Take care. Bye-bye. Okay, and then to our second place finisher, TNR Panic Potato, with an excellent second position. Now, Panic Potato, I mean, you must be still shaking after the ending of our race at Monza, but how are you feeling on second position?
I'm definitely still shaking. That was an incredible race. I mean, from start to finish, it was just constant battling. There was no break at all. Massively well done to he was a man on a mission today. His pace was ridiculous, and well done to JDJ as well. Did a phenomenal job there, battling towards the end. And thank you to you guys as well. Going to broadcast back afterwards. See you. Obviously, it's going to be exciting because this race was absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, it really was. I mean, Monza never fails to disappoint. But tell us about your strategy going into this race, and how it paid off for you.
Yeah, so obviously the fuel wear and the tyre wear was very, very high. So we were kind of forced into that 3-stop if we wanted to keep a decent pace. I mean, JDJ's pace was just absolutely incredible, and I kind of just piggybacked off of him. Saved a ton of fuel following behind the second medium stint. And then I decided I was going to originally do the soft hard, but then I realized, okay, maybe I should try the other way around and give myself a fighting chance towards the end. And I mean, that paid out incredibly well for me. I just overfueled tiny bits so that I could just, I could fuel for shorter time going to the softs. And then that brought me out just in like the perfect gap to chase down JDJ for the second place there.
Yeah, and well, I mean, you've kind of got onto that point really, but in the final embers of that race, yes, we knew that you was on the soft tyres, but tell us about your nerves going into the last couple of laps, because from what we could see on the tyre delta, I mean, it looked like you was pretty much on the rims there. So how difficult was it to drive that car and try to wrestle it to hold on to that second position?
It felt like a dog there towards the last lap, but just was not turning at all. I mean, I don't know what I was doing. I think I was overdriving a tiny bit, because it was surviving the 6 laps perfectly fine in practice. But I think I burned through my tires very quickly trying to catch up to JDJ. And then going on to that last lap, I think if I was a 10th or 2 back, I wouldn't have been able to make that move, and he would have had it. I mean, it worked out pretty much perfectly.
Yeah, well, you've definitely inherited the slogan "Minister of Defence," courtesy of a few of your TNR members. It was a fantastic job from you, Panic Potato. So congratulations on that second position. But Rob, your thoughts and questions to our second place finisher.
Oh, firstly, mate, congratulations on another podium. That's 5 podiums for the season, if I'm not mistaken. 1 win, 5 podiums. Really consistent results throughout the season. First thing I want to ask you is about the strategy. Was that pre-planned between the team? It looked like yourself and Levitius went for the same strat with the hard soft tyre, and how nervous was that ending?
Yeah, I would say the strategy was pretty much the only way to go. I was actually very, very tempted. After I realized how fast JDJ was, I was tempted to move to a 2-stopper. But I just decided I'm not going to risk it. I'm just going to play it safe, do what we've done in practice. It's not really worth doing anything else. Then, I just stuck to the team strategy that we made, and that worked out. And extremely nervous for that ending. That was incredible. Going down into T1, I didn't know if I was going to get it stopped or not. think I braked a tiny bit too late. I did run a tiny bit deep, but I think that actually worked out for the better because it just stopped JDJ being able to get a switch back on me. And, then after that, it was just about surviving. I think he made a mistake going through a scary that allowed me to just get that tiny bit of a gap going in there to the last corner. And by that point, it was just like I was in awe. I had no clue how I'd done that.
No, it was absolutely fantastic to watch. As I say, I'm new to the commentary box myself. I have followed the season throughout. Phenomenal defence at Red Bull last week. Phenomenal defence this week into the Parabolica for that final lap of the race. How do you make an AMG wider than a bus?
I must say, I think that has a lot to do with a special man named Sir Mags Corbin, the D special. He does a lot to help teach me, helped me quite a lot in practicing. So massive props to him. Also just massive props to pretty much everyone in the team being there to help me practice. That allows me to practice defending like I have today. And I mean, it's worked out very well this season to put it on track very cleanly for the most part. Happy that it's worked out that way.
Oh, it's been an absolute pleasure to watch, and we get to do it all again next week. So I'm looking forward to commentating on hopefully another mega defense, and let's see where you can finish off the season. But it's been an incredibly consistent season. It's been absolutely fantastic to watch you racing. So all the best for the rest of the season.
Thank you, Rob. I really.
Oh. Okay, have we lost connection or not? Paddy Potato. Okay, yeah, I can hear you now. So you just dipped out for a brief few seconds there, Paddy Potato, but we've got you back. What I was going to ask you, just as a final question then, so of course, just the same question to JDJ. What are your experiences of the Formula 3500 car? Because obviously that's quite a new car to the GT7 car roster. And of course, that was a daily race as well last week at Monza. And I, in particular with myself, I had a bit of a nightmare controlling that car. But what are your thoughts on that car going into the last round of the MSA Cup? Oh, okay. Okay, I can't
Do it this way. Okay, I'm back now. Sorry.
Okay.
I must say it was a bit of a nightmare for me getting to grips with it last week with the daily race. It took me a good few laps to get it under control, but then once I did, I started getting really decent with it. I think my pace was fairly strong, a couple tenths off of Levicious, which is incredible for myself. So yeah, I'm excited for the combo. Just have to learn how to drive it around. That's going to be a bit of a challenge because that's always a tricky circuit. But yeah, I'm looking forward.
Well. Oh, I can hear a bit of feedback there.
Oh, sorry.
So what I was going to say is, Paddy Potato, so, hopefully that will put you in great stead for the last race of the MSA Cup. Best of luck to you in that race. Of course, the Points Championship as well, looking very tight for that top three. So you've got that outside chance of grabbing that P3, but obviously you will need to finish in front of JDJ to stand any chance of grabbing that top three. So best of luck to you for next week, and definitely look forward to seeing how you get on and seeing if you can take the pace that you had from the daily races and transfer it over to Le Mans.
Thank you very much. Thank you to both yourself, Flawed, and Rob. We're definitely watching the broadcast back. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your nights.
Thank you very much, Paddy Potato.
It's been an absolute pleasure to watch you racing, mate. Thank you.
Thank you, Paddy Potato. Take care. Bye-bye. Okay, and then last but not least, we have our race winner, and well, I wouldn't say confirmed a champion just of yet, but certainly puts him in a great position to take the MSA Cup Championship. Levitis with a absolute phenomenal job of basically pretty much a faultless victory today at Monza. But how are you feeling after that, Levitis?
It was a bit of a difficult race to stay focused. Once I broke out the slipstream on lap 1, I was just basically time trialing the whole race, and it felt like a really long race because just nothing was happening. I just was looking at the gaps behind and then just kept managing my pace. It was a very good pace overall. I'm really happy with my consistency. I didn't get the perfect race though. I got a penalty on the end of the race sometime, but overall I'm just really stoked. And I'm just really happy that we're going to Le Mans now, and yeah, looking forward to it.
So tell us, Levitis, then. So, I mean, you was leading the race from start to finish. Now, we know that this race was a bit of a slipstream battle. You know, a lot of drivers using the car in front to save fuel. But, of course, you was leading, and you led for such a big gap as well. So tell us the key in you actually getting the race win today.
So in turn 1, Richard was very close to me on my inside. I made sure I gave him space on the apex, and I noticed that I think I just basically blocked him into turn 2, so he didn't get a good run. I had about 5.5 tenths of a gap coming out of turn 2, so I decided, okay, no, we're gunning it. We're full sending the fuel usage here. We're not going to worry about saving right now. And our turn 4 and 5 was pretty good. We brought up another 2 tenths of a gap to 7 tenths. Lesmo 1 was pretty even. Lesmo 2 almost crashed completely. Ascari, I sent it, nailed it, was up to like 9 tenths of a gap. Then Richard started gaining back a few tenths. And then coming into the next lap in turn 1 and 2, Richard made a mistake, and that was basically it. Yeah.
Okay, that in a nutshell. Yeah, I mean, like I said, you didn't really put a foot wrong, and apologies that we didn't really get to see you too much because it was all happening from behind. But yeah, certainly you just had your main focus of just remaining in the lead and keeping it as comfortable as it was for you. So a great performance for you, and surely you must be feeling confident ahead of next round now with such a points deficit to VSR Richard. But tell us how you're feeling ahead of Le Mans next week.
Le Mans is my bread and butter. I've loved that circuit. I've never driven such a fast car there. I have done some practice already, and it's definitely going to put some people out of their comfort zone. The track's really quick already in some prototypes, so with a Formula 1 car, it's going to be crazy. I'm looking forward to it. There's a few places where you just need to adjust because this car's quite sketchy, but I'm very cautiously optimistic.
Well, I guess we'll wait and find out. But congratulations on the race victory, Levitis. Phenomenal drive from you. Rob, what are your thoughts and what are your questions to Levitis?
No, and I've seen this guy race a million times. No, I'm joking. Absolutely phenomenal performance, dude. 5th win of the season, 6th podium the season, pretty much led front to back. I just want to quick chat about lap times. It was a 1:47.7 in quali, 1:48.5 in race trim. Fastest lap of the race, fastest lap of quali. Where do you extract that time from?
Well, in the race, I was looking to have the little cherry on top with the fastest lap, and it was a good race lap, but it wasn't crazy. I was just still trying to manage the fuel a little bit. In quali, though, Dylan and I, we had a predetermined strategy. Basically, he'll tow me around, and then the following laps, I'll tow him around. He did make a few mistakes, but basically, we just need one good lap, and then after that, I was just helping Dylan. He gave me the perfect slipstream that I needed, and it was just perfect scenario. Yeah.
Yeah, quali was awesome. We did see you leave the pit first, and then I immediately noticed you'd gone straight back to the pits. Indeed. Was that part of the plan?
Definitely it was. We're just trying to sync up on track, and it just worked perfectly, to be honest. The teamwork is amazing.
Yeah, it's definitely a great performing team. Just if you can, just a comment on your teammate, Panic Potatoes, race P2, that's, 1 and 2 again. Any comments there? Fantastic race from him.
Dylan was doing a great job in practice as well. I'm pretty sure if he he didn't get held up or had a bit of a better quali, I think he would have actually been behind me the entire race, because he was he had the pace definitely to stick with me. Overall, though, Dylan is just killing it. He's progressing so quickly, and I'm a bit nervous for season 2, but we'll have to see when that comes, you know.
Last one from me. Again, not going to say the championship's sewn up. Anything can happen in racing.
Yes, exactly.
But good stead going into the last race. You said that Monza was your forte. Now Le Mans your forte. Is there anywhere that isn't your forte?
Well, I like I said earlier in the season, the last 4 tracks were my bread and butter. I just needed to get to a decent position for the first 6 rounds, and then I know that I'll be very confident going into the last 4. And Le Mans, you know, I've raced around Le Mans probably thousands of times now in terms of the laps, so just need to do how many laps we got, maybe 20 laps on next Monday, and we should be good.
Well, it was phenomenal to watch you race. It was phenomenal to commentate on one of your races. I've watched many of your races, as you will well know. It was an absolute pleasure. Congratulations on the race win. Can't wait to get on with the next race next week.
Thanks, Rob.
Yeah, and yeah, I can only continue that word, really, Levitius. Yeah, I mean, you nailed down a fantastic performance here for round 9 of the MSA Cup. You're in a very, very good position for the last race of the season. So, yeah, all I can really say is best of luck for the final round of the championship, and look forward to seeing how you get on next week, Levitius.
Definitely. Thank you, Flawed.
Thank you, Levitius. Take care, mate. Bye-bye.
You too.
Okay, all right. So we have kind of already mentioned what's coming up, but a quick recap on what's coming up for next week. So coming up next week on Monday, August the 11th, for the grand finale, we head over to France for the Circuit de la Sarthe for the 24-hour Du Mans, which features 21 turns in a clockwise direction around this 13.629 kilometer track layout in this fast-flowing slipstream circuit, coupled with a few technical sections. It's the last chance for the drivers to score points, so expect this one to be an intense affair, where we will find out who will be crowned champion of the MSA Cup 2025. And of course, the car that they'll be using for this special event, well, they will need to get familiarized with a new type of car, very different from the Group 3 and Group 4 counterparts. We are in the open wheeler for the Formula 3500A, a throwback to the V12 powered Formula 1 cars of the early 1990s era. Expect it to be fast but very furious, where if you don't respect its power, it could spit you out into a wall, particularly in the lower gears. Now, we do need to give a big shout out to our sponsors of the MSA Cup 2025. So firstly, Simulator Cave, the haven for all your sim racing requirements in South Africa. And also TGSC, Cape Town Golf Academy, the hotbed of nurturing talented golfers to reach full greatness. Please do subscribe to our socials at Sim Motorsport Association on all our platforms, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, our growing community on Discord, and of course this very channel on YouTube. Make sure, if you're new to the channel, smash that subscribe button, clicking the bell notification so you don't miss any of our content. And when you're done watching, hit the like button to help with the YouTube algorithm so it spreads our content across the platform. We fully appreciate you. If you'd like to contact Robin Williams, our MSA GT7 promoter, for further details, the email links will be in the description below and on our YouTube homepage. And a big thank you to the SMA Productions and the SMA admin for their tireless work they've provided thus far in this season, and continue to do so for next week as well. We appreciate all the hard work, and a big thank you again to our amazing moderators in chat as well, keeping the chat controlled as always. But we'll be back in a few moments time to get the thoughts of Rob G. Barker on that race. So back shortly. Okay, so Rob, what can I say? An absolute enthralling and engrossing battle we've seen here for round 9 of the MSA Cup at Monza. But what are your thoughts of the race, and who is your driver of the day? And that question also goes out to everyone in chat as well. Be interesting to see who your driver of the day is. But firstly, Rob, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think the most enthralling part of that there was the fact that the tyre strategy was vastly different among the racers. A lot of people starting out in the mediums. We knew it was going to be a toss-up between the two, the three, and maybe even the extra stopped 4-tyre compound. The race kind of separated in the mid bit, and then it all came back together at the end. It was really great to watch, really great to commentate on. Loads of battles up and down. But as for driver of the day, I mean, Levy was phenomenal. Pretty much led from checkered flag, green flag to checkered flag. Absolutely phenomenal. But for me, Panic Potato did an awesome job. He did an awesome job at Red Bull. Unfortunately lost out in that one, but managed to get the P2 this week with yet another phenomenal defensive drive. So yeah, Panic Potato for me. What an awesome performance from all of the drivers out there. It was amazing to watch.
Yeah, I have to agree with you on that one. I think, Panic Potato did look like he was going to lose that second position. Somehow he managed to keep hold of that car on extremely worn soft tyres and fully deserved that second position. So, yeah, my driver of the day is also TNR Panic Potato. So, congratulations to him. And I would imagine that chat are probably thinking the same, because there's no comments on their driver of the day, so I think it's unanimous that Panic Potato is the driver of the day. But Rob, thank you for your company today. You've been absolutely amazing on comms, as I knew you would be. But it's important to kind of shout you out because you're also a Twitch streamer. So for those that don't know, tell us about where to find you, what kind of content that you put out there, and what to expect in the near future.
Thank you very so much for the shout out. Yeah, I am of course Rob G. Barker. You can find me on Twitch. We stream 2 or 3 times a week. We've got hosting GT7 leagues, WRC leagues, and hopefully some AMS leagues as well. You can catch us Tuesday, Wednesdays, Fridays around 8:30 in the evening. You'll catch us on the weekend in the DTCC league. It's a bit of a community that we collectively call the B&D community, and that's where you can find us.
Right, well, make sure, guys, no excuses. Make sure you head over to Twitch and go and hit that follow button for Rob G. Barker and give him that support he fully deserves. Just to reiterate on chat as well, so Robin is saying that the driver of the day is Spud, aka TNR Panic Potato, so definitely unanimous in that decision. But Rob, hopefully you've enjoyed your time tonight, and of course we will see you next week for the grand finale at Le Mans.
Yeah, I'm definitely going for a drink after this. My voice is all but gone, but I cannot wait to join you guys again next week for what will hopefully be a fantastic finale.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, definitely rest that voice of yours, Rob. I did tell you that the races here in the SMA and the MSA Cup is fast and furious, and now you understand what I go through on a week-to-week basis. So yes, get some tea down you with a bit of honey, because that always helps my voice out. But yeah, look forward to having you back next week for the grand finale. So thank you very much, Rob.
You're welcome, guys, and thank you, chat, the promoters, commentators, the whole team. Amazing job. Thank you.
Thank you, Rob. Thank you. Okay, so it was indeed TNR Levitius who romped home to become the winner in round 9 of the MSA Cup. As the championship draws to a dramatic conclusion, it's looking nailed on that he could become the MSA champion in round 10 of the MSA Cup for Le Mans, but it's not definitely nailed down, so we'll have to wait and find out till next week. So make sure you tune into this very channel on YouTube at the Sim Motorsport Association for Monday the 11th of August at 8:40 p.m. Eastern Africa time. But from everyone in the MSA and the SMA production team, a huge thank you for watching. So make sure you hit that like button and hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and we hope to see you next week. I've been your main host, Flawed Genius Gaming, so stay safe out there, have a fantastic week, and it's a goodbye for now. SMA, growing the sport together.